All right, guys, we are back at it with another strategy to test today. So on the previous video, panned out well. That was Kentucky White's variation on the corners, okay? I think Joe Yurkovich made a great point, right? That we do not need to martingale the strategy. So let's just jump into it, and I'm going to show the changes that I've made, and I made a couple little minor tweaks that I think would pan out well. So let's jump without, of course, with covering, not covering, but with protecting bankroll, but also slowing that progression a little bit more, making it a little safer. Okay, I'm not saying safe, I'm just saying safer. So let's jump into it. We are going to use the same unit size, and we're going to start out the exact same way. There's going to be some differences in this one. Stay tuned. Let's start. We're going to pick, I'm going to look at the board, and I'm going to use my fillers, right? And it looks like the last to hit was in the first dozen. I'm going to put a corner bet in there. And then previously, we got a 30, 25, and 20. So I'm going to go ahead and put another corner bet over here. We're going to still start at 2. So let's jump into it. We're starting the test. This is spin number 1. This is a modification to the previous video. Start off with a loss. Okay, here's the difference. We're going to repeat the bet. We're going to continue, and we're going to add another corner, 1 by 1 on misses, okay? From here, I'm going to double the bet. Now, it's not a martingale system, right? We're not going to martingale in today's strategy. Bear with me, and you'll see what I mean. All right, so minus 10. Still very early. 26 black comes up. 26 black is a hit, okay? Look at this. $60 coming back, and boom! We're up 50 bucks. All right. Bear with me. This strategy is interesting. All right. It's really all about the progression on this one. So back to base we go. We are in new session profit. We're still going to reset new session profit. I'm looking at the board. All right. So high numbers. I mean, not high numbers. Third dozen. It's hitting. All right. Same with the first dozen. So I want to start in those areas. I'm trying to follow those hot areas. All right. Base level bet, 2 corners. We're using $5 chips. And we get a 17 black. That is okay. We're going to simply rebet. We're going to go ahead and add our third corner in. Third corner goes in. From here, we double. This is the furthest we've been in the progression so far. But we are not going to continue to double. I will explain once if we get another loss. 18 red comes up, and 18 red is another loss. So let's see what happens next. Repeat the bet. We're at 3 corners. Now we throw in our 4th corner, right? These ones you see are at 10. We're going to bump that one up to 10, okay? And then we spin again. Let's see what we get here. And we get a 2 black. 2 black is covered. It's throwing back 50 bucks at us. And you know what I did not do? I did not. Let me just... I already made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm trying to multitask here, guys. All right. So on that last bet, I should have increased. When I put that one in, I should have increased all by 1. I didn't do that. It cost me. That's okay. I did want to highlight that. I'm a human and I make mistakes. So let's go back to our base level bet. Since we still are technically in a new session profit, 2 corner bets go in. 60 is new session high. 35 black comes in. 35 black is a miss. So we're going to simply go ahead and add that one in. At this point, it's simple to just double. All we're really doing with this is adding a single unit to each bet every time we add a corner. All right, so we got 3 corners in right now. And we get a 22 black. 22 black is a miss. Those other corners are at 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, right? 2 units. At $5 each is 10. Now we go ahead and throw a chip on all 4 at this point. Just one more chip. $60 total bet. $36 red comes in. 36 red is a miss. So we're at 4. We're going to add 15 here, but we're going to add a chip on all of them. So they're technically all at 20. $100 total bet. We got 5 corners covered. Currently dropped down to minus 40. And 34 comes up. 34 is a hit. $80 coming back to us. Okay, we're going to hold our bet here. We're not peeling anything off. We're at 5 corners. We're going to simply rebet, spin again. And look at that. We got another hit, 80 bucks coming back to us. We're in a new session high of $120. So back to base we go. I see that the first doesn't hit last. Third doesn't hit last. That's why I'm putting those bets over there. Starting with 2 corners. $5 each. 4 black comes in, and I think that's a hit. Look at that. Right off the bat, something that didn't happen in the last video. That's nice to see. 155 is new session high. Let's go ahead and follow suit with the first and third dozen. Base level bet, we stay. We're just shifting around those corners. You always want to be fluid. Staying stagnant with this game is a killer, okay? Keep that in mind. So now we lost that one. We're going to go ahead and add another one. Double at this point. We're simply putting $10 on each of the corner bets. And again, you don't have to use this denomination. You could go start with $1, 50 cents, whatever you are comfortable with. All right, we lost again. All right, 4th corner goes in. Go ahead and throw it up here. And we are going to add another chip to each corner. We're at 15 each bet, $60 total. All right, there's another miss. All right, so we're going to add in another one at 15. Now these all go up to 20. $100 total bet. We're at spin 15. And let's see if we grab a win right now. 11 black comes in. 11 black is a $80 return. Let's check the stats. See where we are at. We're at 135. Our session high was at 155. All right, so we're going to hold the bet here. Repeat. We got 5 corners covered. And look at that, guys. Back-to-back hits on the 11. That shot us up from 155 previous high to $215. All right, so back to base and keep it safe we go. Let's see if it hits 11 again. So I'm going to cover that corner. And it looks like that center dozen has hit most recent. So right here I go. 2 corner bets, base level, 5 apiece. All right, we get a 16 red. I believe that's a hit. Great. Beautiful early hit. We're just gained $35 on that. New session high is at $250. So let's go ahead and keep our bets. We're going to shift them around, but I'm going to keep them in the same dozens because I like to follow the hot dozens. All right, new session high is 250, guys. 250. And that was on spin 17. All right, we got a miss right there. That's okay. We know what to do. We just go ahead and add in another one. Double up right here. Just adding 1 unit each. So after a loss, you add another corner and just bump it up by 1 unit. All right, 27 red comes in. 27 red is a miss. So then we fill it in, matching the other bets at 10. Then we add 1 more chip to each spot. Okay, just like that. Very easy to follow. We haven't even gone too high in the progression. Once we get to 6 corner bets, I'll explain what changes. All right, so we got 4. Let's go ahead and add our 5th one in. Now they're going all up to 20 each, just going up by 1 unit. So technically, if you're using dollar units, this would be $4 each corner. Or if you're using 50 cents, it's only $2 a corner. All right. This is spin number 20. See what we get here. 28 black comes in. 28 black is another miss. So now we're going to the highest level we've been in the progression so far. So let's go ahead and add in. Let's just stay on this top row. So we're at 20. Now it goes 25 each bet. back-to-back 28s, back-to-back losses. This is where things changes. We are not doubling at this point, but we're shifting from increasing 1 unit. Now we're going to increase 2 units. And instead of peeling off corners, I'm going to explain what we're going to do different, okay? So we are going to repeat the bet. We're going to hold our bet here. Now we're going 1, 2 on each of the corner bets. Because the original version said after a full loss, double, but you only have a handful of doubles before you lose your bankroll. All right, so another loss. It's going to prompt us to go up 1, 2, 1, 2, each of the bets. And we spin again. Now we drop minus 310. Very low. Actually, that is our lowest. So we got another miss. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Each going up 2 units. And finally got a win with the 4 black. No, I lied. I thought it was a win, and we lost. Okay, so we lost 3 in a row at our 6th corner bet. So from here, we double, right? Currently minus 910. And we finally got a hit with a 36. That's 330 coming back to us. We're going to repeat the bet and spin again. And we get another hit. Repeat the bet, spin again. And that's 3 in a row. 330 coming back to us. That put us plus 80. One more hit will put us in a new session profit. Spin again. And let's see if we could get one more hit. 20 comes up. 20 black is another hit. All right, that was a rough run. So even with that rough run, a bunch of losing numbers came out, and we still were able to recoup our losses plus some. Now we're in a new session high that just skyrocketed all the way up to $410. All right, so definitely got to go back to our base level bet. And looking at the board, I'm looking at the first dozen a hit and the second dozen a hit. So the idea behind this is really to slow that progression, starting with lower coverage and incrementally adding corners along with adding a unit each corner. Things do change, right? So we're at a 3 corner bet right here. Things do change once you get to that 6th corner. Then you add 2, right? You do that for 3 times. After that, if you're not in session profit, that's when you double. All right. We got a hit right there. And let's check stats. We're at 430. 430 is new session high, so that's going to prompt us to go back to our base level bet. And let's keep the bets in the same area. Very rough run we had, but we did come back. Very interesting. That's why we test before we invest, guys. You want to test us out. Make sure that you're comfortable and confident with any strategy that you end up playing with. So we are going to double at this point since we lost. 3 corners covered. We're at spin 30. And we get a 10 black. 10 black is a hit. $60 return. We're new session profit at $480. $480. Okay, we're going back to our base level bet. Let's cover that corner and last one a hit. I like to follow streaks. It just seems to happen more often with roulette. For me, some people like cold numbers. That's not my deal. All right, 20 is one of my favorite numbers. I'm going to go ahead and cover that, and we're going to increase by 1 unit, simply doubling at this point. Very easy to follow. And we got another miss. Let's go ahead and add in another corner. Now each bet goes to 15, simply adding 1 unit each. $21 black black, or 21 red, sorry, is a $75 return. We are in a new session profit again, $515. So we had a rough run, came back, and now we're just going back to making money. All right, making profit. So let's go ahead. Center dozen is pretty hot right now. And let's go ahead and put a bet in that first dozen as well. Back to base we go. Let's see how we end up. All right, 5 red comes up. 5 red is uncovered. That's okay. We simply go ahead and add in another corner. We're going to double up. We're at spin 35. 14 red comes in, and 14 red is a miss. All right, 4th corner goes in. Now we're going up to 15, right? So 3 units on each of the corners. $60 total bet. Let's see what we get here. Currently dropped down to $4.75. 26 black comes up, and that's another miss. So we're going to go 20 on 5 corners. All right, total bet is $100 at this point using $5 chips. Let's get a hit. 4 black comes in. 4 black is a miss. All right. Missed that one. We're going to put our 6th bet. Now we're going to 25 on each corner. $150 total bet. 15 black comes in. 15 black is a hit. All right, 390. Remember, our high was 515. We got the hit right there. We're going to simply rebet and spin again. All right, 23 red is a hit. $75 coming back. We're at 465. Repeat, spin again. We're not increasing 2 units after this 6 corner coverage until we get a loss. And look at that. 23 back-to-back 75 shot us up into a new session profit of $540. So we are going back to our base level bet. I'm liking that center. Dozen is hitting quite a bit. So we're going to go there. Let's go down here in the first dozen. And this is spin 40. And we get 31 black. 31 black is a miss. So we're going to punch in 1 more corner, double up, adding 1 unit each. All right, that's another miss. So we're going to go ahead and add in another corner, and we're going 15 each. Simply 3 units, depending on your unit size, can vary. 31 black comes in. Good thing I got that covered. That's a $75 return. 575 is new session high. 575. Okay, let's do one more sequence. Okay, we're close to nearing the end of the test, but let's go back to our base level bet, and let's cover the 2 hot areas. The 2 hot zones are 2nd and 3rd dozen. So I'm going to give it one more run. Once we get into a new session high, I'll wrap up the video. 27 red comes in. 27 red is a miss. We're going to add in that 3rd corner, double up. All right, we're at spin 45 at this point. Let's get a new session high, and then we can wrap up the video. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself, but let's go ahead and bump it up to 15 each. And we get 25 red. I don't think that's covered. It sure isn't. So we got to put in another corner. And this one goes in at 25. Nope, I was wrong. It goes in at 20. Yeah, 20 each. All right, $80 coming back to us. $555 is not session high. $575 was session high. So we're simply going to rebet, spin again. We got a pretty large coverage right at this point, right? We got 5 corners covered. 5 times 4, that's 20 number coverage. See if we could get a hit right here. We could wrap up the video, and I don't think we did. That's a 12 red. 12 red is not covered. We're going to our highest corners in 6, and we're going to go up to 25 each. And let's see what we get here. 575 was session high. 13 black comes in. 13 black is a miss. At this point, once you get that 6 corner bet in, we're not martingaling. We're just simply going up 2 units. So in this case, it's going to be a total bet of $35 on each of the bets. Total bet is $210. All right, we got a hit right there. 105 coming back to us. We're at 410. We're going to rebet, spin again. And we get a 14 red. 14 reds, another $105 return. Let's spin again. One more hit right here. We could wrap up the video. That would put us in a new session high. Let's see if I did or did not jinx it. 18 red. I believe that's a hit. Boom! 105 coming back to us, guys. $620 in session profit is where we're wrapping this up. That was exactly at spin 50. Keep in mind, guys, we did use some bankroll, right? We got on a super long dry spell and had a dip down minus $910 in our bankroll. Again, this was using $5 unit sizes, so you could drop that back to $1 just to test it out. But always, I stress this, test before you invest. Don't just see a video, don't just see a strategy and think it's going to work every time. You do want to do a handful of these tests so you feel comfortable and confident to use it in real play. All right, so with that being said, we did drop down minus 910. Original bankroll for this system was $2,000, and it looked like, based off today's results, dropping down that low, maybe you need about 1,500. You know, I'd say 1,500 is pretty solid. If you're losing anything more than that, man, I would have punched out way before that anyways. You know, but that's a subject for another day. Today we ended up with $620 in profit. That's pretty solid. After 50 spends, that's about an average session. That's about 45, 50 minutes in an actual casino, right? Playing this. So I think that's pretty solid returns. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have a better version or any modifications or any tweaks, let me know. Always let me know in the comments. This channel, we make strategies better, okay? That's the idea. Some of the strategies suck. To be honest with you, some of them we just got to dish out to the side. One thing that we noticed with this, it did drop down a little low, but it did have that comeback power. It bounced back fairly good, you know, without that use of martingale. So, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until next time, guys, be cool, stay cool, peace.